In a previous interview, you talked about struggling throughout the season. So what changed and how are you able to turn the page so that the end of the season went a lot better?
Lexi Hull was on the brink of disappearing from the WNBA spotlight when 2024 began. Once a 6th overall pick and Stanford champion, she now sat buried on Christy Side's bench, watching role players pass her by. The whispers grew louder. Was Hull a future star? Or just another draft bus fading away?
So you have basketball in your genes. Your grandfather played basketball, your dad, and you have a twin sister who you played basketball with growing up. What was it like growing up in that family dynamic?
Well, we have a super competitive family, and having my dad play basketball collegiately, knew that basketball was going to be put in my hands at an early age. But my parents were, super excited about having us try every sport imaginable. So yeah, we grew up, my sister and I, playing a little bit of everything.
Then came the earthquake. Caitlin Clark, a generational talent who didn't just join the Fever, she redefined them. Her game was lightning, her presence pure gravity. Suddenly, Indiana had purpose, fire, and direction. For Lexi Hull, Clark wasn't just a teammate, she was a lifeline.
I think it was important to get to know her off the court because I do think that, connections, getting to know people really play a part in the success of teams.
Hull didn't hold back in interviews with She's for Sports and the Dunker Spot. She revealed how Clark's arrival flipped her career and turned the Fever from a stumbling mess into one of basketball's best stories. This was bigger than her own revival. It was redemption, leadership, and a culture shift that could define Indiana's future.
She's been called the clutch player by WNBA fans, and she was drafted to the W in 2022 with the Indiana Fever in the first round as the 6th pick. I'm talking about professional basketball player Lexi Hull.
The start of 2024 was brutal for Hull. Despite her pedigree, she couldn't break the rotation. Katie Lou Samuelson and Christy Wallace, players with half her upside, were stealing her minutes while she sat sidelined, towel over her shoulders.
At the beginning of the season, my playing time definitely looked different than it did at the end. So trusting that, I was staying ready, putting in the work so that when I did get the minutes out on the court, that I could take full advantage of them. So I was just really proud of myself for trusting the process and staying the course.
The sting was real. From Stanford star to Indiana bench warmer, the fall was a mental battle just as steep as any physical one.
The basketball part of the transition is really tough. Everybody out on the court was one of the best players on their college teams, definitely the best player likely from their high school team. So it's just this mishmash of the best basketball players, and then you're playing against people that have been there for years and years.
Meanwhile, the Fever were spiraling, opening 1-8 and leaving Indianapolis fans desperate for answers that never came.
We were just sick that we had lost so many games, and also feeling like we were better than that.
Headlines blasted the Fever for bad rotations, weak defense, and zero chemistry. Pressure smothered the locker room, and from the sideline, Hull battled her own doubts as the whole ship seemed ready to sink.
Part of my role is just getting to the open spots, and we have such a good offense that people find the open person. So to be that open person, you get excited. You get excited for the opportunity to shoot and score and be part of the momentum.
But Hull wouldn't let the story end there. She doubled down, sharpening her cuts, fixing her jumper, and staying ready for any chance. Through it all, her teammates' belief in her became fuel, even when the box score said otherwise.
What is it like playing off of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston?
I mean, they make my job really easy, right? It's awesome. And it's really cool to see all of them just grow, not only from this year, but playing 3 years with Kelsey, 2 years with Aaliyah. They're so impressive.
Then Clark arrived, and everything flipped. The lights came back on, practices crackled with energy, fans packed arenas, and Indiana went from punchline to must-watch. Clark's edge was contagious, and she made sure everyone rose to her level.
And I think it's really fun because they garner so much attention, obviously, from the other team's defense. So then it allows the other players, me included, to make cuts, make reads, and they're really good at finding, those openings and giving the ball up when it's needed and finding the better shot. So it's really fun, and I feel really lucky to get to play with them.
As Hull laughed, "We go up against the guys in practice, and if they're not competing, Caitlin makes sure they do." That wasn't just energy, it was on transformation.
I mean, I definitely got passes and tried to finish when I wasn't expecting to get the ball. So now it's okay, every cut I have, every cut I make, every fast break I run, I have a real opportunity to get the ball, which definitely took me a second. And I think it really just took one of those to really get my head around oh, she's all the way down at the other end of the floor and she could still make the pass to me down at the block at this end. So, it's been awesome.
Clark brought more than star power. She brought a basketball brain on fast forward. Reading defenses like a veteran quarterback, she threaded passes Hull didn't even know were there. "She's making passes I didn't think were possible," Hull said. Clark's gravity pulled defenders and opened lanes, turning the Fever's offense from stuck in the mud to humming.
It's so fun to be able to know that you're not just cutting to cut, knowing that you're cutting with the possibility of actually making a really cool play. So that makes it that much more worthwhile.
Clark's fire was contagious, igniting the roster like wildfire. Doubting players now felt they could compete with anyone. She brought more than points. She brought belief. For Hull, that was everything. Clark's leadership lifted morale and performance in one sweep.
She sees the game at a bigger scale, obviously with the platform that she's created for herself, and then that's transitioned to the game. It's huge. And I think for me, especially as a point guard and as someone that's delivering a lot of the passes that lead to shots, if I miss, she's definitely going to say, you got the next one. I can count on her for keeping me confident and positive. So yeah, I think that shows the player that she is and the leader she is as a point guard.
And soon, the results began to show. The Fever started to click, their offense evolving into something fluid, cohesive, and downright dangerous. Every possession carried electricity, every cut and pass carrying real purpose. Hull admitted the game felt different now. Faster, sharper, more thrilling, because she finally had a chance to make a play that mattered. Clark wasn't just scoring, she was orchestrating, pulling the strings, reshaping the floor around her, and giving teammates like Hull the room to shine. Every practice crackled with intensity. Every game carried the weight of possibility. She was more than a star. She was a force, a catalyst, a player capable of rewriting careers in real time. Yet even as the Fever's energy surged, a question lingered in the air, heavy and unspoken. Could this wave of momentum truly turn Indiana's season around? Or was it just a fleeting spark before the storm returned? The answer wouldn't be found in highlights or headlines. It would be forged in the relentless grind, the battles and bruises, the narrow wins and crushing losses waiting in the weeks ahead.
Oh, open three. Oh, what a sight for Lexi Hull. She has needed that one to drop.
Caitlin Clark's face said it all. Lexi Hull finally drained a three after what felt like forever. The Fever, missing their star and any real point guards, weren't just surviving. They were schooling the Chicago Sky in a resilience masterclass. Spoiler, the Sky didn't stand a chance. Playoffs, anyone?
We're back home, baby. Let's go! Back in the W column.
That's a big job, baby. Point guard.
Imagine the Fever's nightmare. Back-to-back losses nobody expected. After cruising the West Coast, Phoenix and LA stomped them hard. These weren't just losses. They were gut punches that screamed playoff hopes. Think again.
Obviously we lost our last two, but I think I don't know, that LA one felt good for us because we didn't quit. And then, life happened the other night at the Valley. So we could have looked at it like, oh, woe is me. And, we don't have enough players. And we didn't. So shout out to our group for just staying confident and staying ready because, it's a professional league and we have to be ready and we can't make too many excuses about it because no one's going to hand us anything. So we might as well look at it for what it is and keep showing up.
Caitlin Clark was already out with injuries, but then Phoenix hit harder. Sydney Colson tore her ACL in the first quarter. Season over, just like that.
Tonight?
Unbelievably proud. I think this is the most resilient team I've ever been a part of, and I say that wholeheartedly. We've had a lot of mishap happen throughout the course of the season. I think throughout the course of it all, we stay resilient, and you guys get to see us at our best when we stay together and be resilient. So shout out to my girls tonight because I think it took everybody. Everyone played a piece, played a role, and I think that's how we got the dub.
Then came the double whammy. Arike Ogunbowale broke a foot in the same game. 2 point guards one night, season over, no floor generals left, basketball nightmare unlocked.
I mean, you guys are unfortunately kind of familiar with injury updates this season, but I imagine yesterday's was probably pretty tough. Just what's the reaction been from you guys, the players, the coaches, to losing Sid and Ari?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, just brokenhearted for them. They're two really good people that you hate to see this happen to. They've been an integral part of what we've been doing, and so hate it for them. Unfortunately, it's part of the deal, and we've got to roll with it. And we've got players in that locker room who believe in one another. Players in that locker room who are as competitive as all get out. We've got versatility, and it's going to have to be on full display. So I think now it's about playing to honor them, right, and playing for them.
Coach Stephanie White scrambled, trying a by-committee offense. Code for, we're totally winging it.
This means you don't have any healthy point guards, and you're not able to sign anyone for tonight's game. Just for tonight specifically, what is your plan kind of running point?
We'll have to do it by committee, certainly. I mean, we've been utilizing AB to initiate offense throughout the course of the season, so we'll use her, continue to use her. Sophie, at times this season, particularly early, ran some of the point for us as well. So we'll utilize her and Kelsey can initiate offense too. So I think the most important thing is that we aren't going to be able to do every play in our arsenal. We'll have to play a big lineup. We'll have to simplify. But we've got players who are capable of getting us into offense, and we'll utilize them in such a way.
Fans doubted the Fever could handle adversity. No trades possible. The Sky thought they'd catch a wounded team ripe for revenge. But the Fever? They'd been quietly building grit all season. This wasn't collapse. It was a team ready to surprise everyone.
Williams gonna have to hurry off the dribble, rolls out. Oh, open three. Oh, what a sight for Lexi Hull. She has needed that one to drop.
Lexi Hull catching fire.
Now Chicago just needs to get it a little bit more settled here in the half court. Nurse loses it. Mitchell 2-on-1. It's a foot race. Mitchell to Cunningham. Cunningham right there for two more.
Lexi Hull was stuck in a brutal slump. Shots kept clanking off the rim, and her confidence took a nosedive. This wasn't just a rough patch. It was the worst shooting drought of her career. Over 2 weeks, she hit only 2 of 25 threes. Her mom hadn't seen her sink a three since August 1st against Dallas.
What was kind of the last month like? How do you stay out of your head or listen to the right people? What is that balance like? As you know what you need to do. Take us kind of what's that like?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's focusing on doing the right thing, taking the right shots, being in the right place, focusing less on the outcome of things. Missed shots happen. It's going to happen in everyone's career. And to just really focus on getting the next good one. I think that's the whole mindset. And we know we have confidence in every single person on every shot that they take. So, just keep shooting.
Hull's shooting slump got ugly. Open shots she'd normally nail suddenly felt like traps. Hesitation replaced her usual smooth stroke, and doubt took over. Every miss piled on the pressure, trapping her in a mental maze where instinct lost to overthinking.
And then Lexi, what was it like to finally break out of that slump, and especially on a night when
it's all there,
when they needed you to?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. It feels good to see the ball go through the net. But I think, every game, regardless, you're making shots, you're not, it feels really, really good to have your teammates behind you. And I definitely feel that every day. And it's fun. It was fun today to get to celebrate some of those.
The Phoenix game was brutal. Hull shot 1 for 11, 0 for 8 from deep, and scored just 2 points, her worst night yet. Afterward, teammate Kelsey Mitchell had a heart-to-heart, telling Hull she still counted on her every game.
Oh, open three. Oh, what a sight for Lexi Hull. She has needed that one to drop.
Hull benches up. Caitlin Clark with a big grin.
Then came the game changer. Hull's three-pointer sailed in as Clark cheered wildly from the bench, celebrating like she'd sunk it herself.
Again, no Sydney Colson out for the year with the ACL tear. Lexi Hull, though, the bucket and the foul. He's dealt with so much scoring adversity lately.
Yeah, terrific baseline execution. She comes off the curl. Tell you what, this Fever team is going to be very dangerous, no matter the roster.
Oh, Lexi Hull! Heat checking her napalm era right now.
That shot broke the dam. Hull's confidence surged, and she hunted for more chances. She nailed 4 of 6 threes. Stats aside, you saw her rediscover herself, moving freely, reading the game, and playing with confidence.
Lexi, that final three-pointer kind of felt like the perfect end of that night. Just, if you could just talk to me about the celebration, how much of a relief that was for you, just kind of to punctuate it like that.
I mean, it's fun. That the crowd was behind us today. It's fun to walk out of the gym on a high note and on a make. And yeah, I mean, I saw the time going down, so I was trying to pull out my inner Kelsey Mitchell.
Hull's plus 22 rating showed her impact wasn't just points. 17 season-high points proved one shot can flip the game. Teammates cheered. Boston flashed 3 fingers. Cunningham hugged her tight. Chicago? They had no clue a team demolition was coming.
So crazy that I'm like, when the song comes on, just like it's all there. Like you just gotta believe it, and I think Lexi knows that we believe in her. Our last game in Phoenix, I think we all were just a bit emotional about everything, and I think me and Lexi had an emotional moment because no one shot well, and I want her to know that we gonna count on her for what she brings to the table every night, and I'm gonna always stand by my teammates, so you never have to worry about that.
Kelsey Mitchell had never run a full offense before, but desperate times called for it. Known as a pure scorer, she posted career-high points but rarely assisted. Mitchell's game was all about putting the ball in the basket.
Yeah, Kelsey, you obviously had to play out of position tonight, kind of filling that point. You had a season-high 8 assists. Just how did you try to embrace that for this game? And
oh man, I haven't played point guard. I was telling the girls I haven't played point guard maybe since college, and so that was different. But I think it brings out the vulnerable side of me, the leadership in which I need to keep getting better at and keep growing at. I think being in this PG position kind of helps with that. And I think I believe in my team. So seeing my assists, go up, it's just because of these girls. We have an unbelievable chemistry when it comes to, seeing and reading each other. So I think they made me look good tonight.
Playing point guard means giving up shots to set up teammates. Exactly the opposite of what Mitchell's instincts told her after 7 seasons. Coach Stephanie White said Mitchell had run some offense with Boston and Cunningham before, but taking full control was a whole new challenge.
Just to add to that, I think Kelsey's not giving herself enough credit. Her and Sophie putting themselves before the team, making sure that they're sacrificing, playing out of position, doing things that they don't normally do, maybe uncomfortable, but I think they both really did a great job of sacrificing in those moments and doing what the team needed to do.
My girl. Sexy Lexi.
The first possessions showed the struggle. Mitchell had to rewire her scorer's brain on the fly, fighting the urge to shoot and instead scanning for the best pass.
Coming off the screen, trying to create some separation. 2 comes up to Boston and trickles in.
Then it clicked. Mitchell saw the floor in a new way, spotting passing lanes she'd missed as a shooter. Her vision sharpened, threading slick passes and setting up easy buckets, even surprising her teammates.
More settled near the half court. Harris loses at Mitchell 2-on-1. It's a foot race. Mitchell to Cunningham. Cunningham right there for 2 more.
The transformation was stunning. Mitchell wasn't just managing offense, she was leading like a seasoned general. White talked about simplifying plays and using bigger lineups, but Mitchell made it look anything but simple.
Cunningham thought about it this time, puts it on the deck. A deflection, bodies flying to the floor. Mitchell controls, 8 to shoot. Mitchell, hesitation in the paint. The floater off the window.
And here's Kelsey Mitchell getting downhill. Little sidestep into the floater.
Pivoting, pirouetting, tough shot, well defended. Mitchell trying to attack Allen. Step back tray. Mitchell buries it.
Chicago's defense was lost against Mitchell's dual threat. They couldn't choose whether to guard her shot or her passes. Commit to one, and she'd do the other. Score when they defended the pass when they guarded the shot.
It's now Van Lith on the island. Mitchell trying to create a little separation. Oh, the hezzy and the scoop off the window. Kelsey Mitchell.
Can't guard her off the bounce. The hezzy, the floater, the kiss off the clap.
Parades the baseline back up top. Working again. Westbelt. Step back three. Rolls it in. And that is a long two this time.
Mitchell flipped the script with a season high in assists, proving true stars impact the game beyond scoring. She reinvented her entire game in one night, setting up teammates for shots they hadn't seen in weeks. Meanwhile, the real action was just starting on the other side of the court. Come playoffs, this team, battle-hardened and gritty, will be unstoppable, especially with Clark back. Winning without their superstar shows, the Fever aren't a one-player act. They're a chemistry-driven force. Coach White's all about bringing in players who want to win together. When Hull struggled, the team still fed her. When Mitchell shifted roles, everyone adjusted. The big question, can this team's chemistry survive the playoff heat? We're about to find out.
Well, this is the play that just occurred.
That's like she tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that lower leg. You see her immediately grab it. She went down hard and was clearly in a lot of pain.
Sophie Cunningham crumpled after a brutal knee collision, and outrage erupted. Fans and even her family blasted officials for failing to protect players. To many, it was another page in a troubling script. Caitlin Clark's groin hit, J.C. Sheldon's eye poke, Marina Mabry's reckless foul. Every battle with the Sun seemed to leave a Fever star battered, and frustration boiled over. Yet, instead of breaking, Indiana roared back. Kelsey Mitchell exploded for a career-high 38. Odyssey Sims answered the call on a hardship deal, and Lexi Hull buried a clutch 3. Against all odds, the Fever clawed to a 99-93 overtime win. The mystery is how they transformed a nightmare first half into a miracle finish.
Shot clock down to 6 for the Fever. Turner, up fade. Turner kicks it. Hull three-pointer. Bottom.
Indiana.
7 on the shot clock, 25 seconds in regulation.
We gotta get to the rim.
Charles has to hoist and connects. Wow. The Indiana Fever prove their resiliency.
The Fever's problems began before tip-off, with all 3 true point guards sidelined. Clark's groin injury, Colson's torn ACL, McDonald's broken foot. With no natural floor general, Coach Stephanie White had to scrap the playbook, leaning on simplified actions and makeshift ball handlers, while other teams were fine-tuning for the postseason.
After Phoenix, it was a quick turnaround to figure out, how we're going to play without, Ari and Sid. And now we got to figure out how we're going to play without Soph. And we've got to figure out, who can play in certain roles. What are our substitution patterns going to be? What kind of wrinkles can we throw out there? It doesn't get easier. And I think we come back and have Minnesota twice, right? So it's really good mentally, physically, and emotionally for us. And then it gives us practice time, which we're going to need.
The challenge deepened once play began. Midway through the second quarter, Sophie Cunningham went down hard and was done after just 10 minutes. Her shooting and grit had been vital to White's fragile rotation, and losing her gutted both depth and spacing. Suddenly, unready players were thrust into big minutes, and the staff was scrambling to juggle energy, matchups, and survival. By halftime, Indiana's rotations were hanging by a thread.
We got Sophie Cunningham, writhing around in pain. Definitely hurt. And Sophie's one tough cookie. If Sophie's kicking and screaming like this, no Will Farrell. She's in pain. We even have Connecticut Sun players. Look at that. Connecticut Sun players, Connecticut Sun training staff coming up to her as the Fever starts making their way down.
On paper, it looked like a sure loss. But instead of folding, the Fever turned chaos into grit, proving short numbers didn't mean short fight. Survival became a statement. Yet the night's toughest moment was still to come. Cunningham's collision, a blow that not only reshaped the lineup, but reignited fury over the officiating itself.
Every day in our huddle, that's what we say together. And it's just more than words for us. I think when you see things happening, there's no other way. If you spread apart, the season goes down quicker than anything else. And we talk about with the injuries, people are probably expecting us to just fold, just like you said, and that's not us. We come in the locker room and we're motivated. We continue to be motivated every single time we step on that floor. At halftime, we were motivated, chip away, and that's our mindset. And just continue to uplift people. When one person goes down, we say it all the time, the next woman stands up. And that's really just been our motto and been what we've had to do a lot this season, and that's what we're just going to continue to do.
The defining moment came in the second quarter, when Bria Hartley lost her balance and crashed into Sophie Cunningham's right knee. The arena fell silent as Cunningham screamed in pain, unable to stand and carried off by trainers. The Fever later confirmed she'd need an MRI. No foul was called, and outrage erupted instantly, inside the arena and all over social media.
How does she magically lower her shoulder into Sophie Cunningham's legs? Can somebody please explain that to me? Can somebody please explain those physics again? Don't want to hear it, because this is a dirty player.
Fans erupted instantly, standing, waving, shouting for a stoppage as Cunningham lay writhing under the basket. The game went on, no whistle, no signal, and fury spread from the stands to her teammates. Their starter had to be carried off, yet officials stayed silent. Afterward, Coach Stephanie White admitted her first thought seeing Cunningham's pain was blunt and unfiltered.
Do you have an update on this?
Yeah. Yeah, MRI tomorrow.
Sorry, just quickly on something. What's going through your mind when you see her down like that and you're jogging over there?
I'm like, holy shit. Especially the way that she fell and, how she was holding herself and how much pain she was in. At the time, it's like crap. And then you go down there and you see her and it's like, okay, just want her to calm down and be able to regroup.
To most fans, this wasn't just an accident. It was part of a disturbing pattern. Memories of J.C. Sheldon's eye poke, Marina Mabry's hard foul, and Sheldon's groin hit on Caitlin Clark all lingered. Each had been called reckless, yet little discipline followed. So when Cunningham went down, it didn't feel like bad luck. It felt like another star left exposed in a problem the league refused to confront.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness. Scary moment as we went to commercial. Sophie Cunningham hit the floor hard, and she is being helped off the floor, heading back to the locker room.
Emotions soared when Cunningham's family spoke out. Her sister Lindsay blasted the WNBA, urging them to protect players instead of finding critics of poor officiating, calling it pathetic. Her mother Paula went further in a since-deleted post, labeling Hartley plain mean and out of control. These weren't random fans, they were family, and their words sharpened the sense that players were being left unprotected.
Bria Hartley deserves zero benefit of the doubt. And Sophie Cunningham's family not too happy. I believe this is Mama C. Hartley is a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes. She's plain mean and plays out of control. Looked out of control to me. Maybe you should focus her sister. Maybe you should focus less on finding players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are capable to call a consistent game and protect your athletes. Pathetic. praying for you. The only good thing positive surrounding Sophie Cunningham coming out of this game, she looked in good spirits in the locker room.
At the core of it all was accountability. Hartley's past on-court clashes had already drawn scrutiny, and her role in this moment only fueled the fire. Social media erupted, some calling her reckless and demanding suspension, others urging the league to rethink officiating standards, intentional or not. When Cunningham went down with no whistle to halt play, frustration spilled over, raw and uncontainable. That moment changed everything. This game wouldn't bend to sympathy or corrected calls. The Fever leaned on sheer emotion, on unrelenting grit, and as the final minutes approached, all that tension funneled into a single player, a sudden force whose takeover threatened to redefine not just this game, but Indiana's fate itself.
Is there just kind of a sense maybe in the locker room that like some of the success you've had over the last week could prove to be your big breakthrough or kind of maybe a turning point for you guys for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all feeling good. I think the energy's high. Really good win in Minnesota. Had a chance to celebrate together. I think that only helps our chemistry. You know, all that stuff off the court definitely fuels us. We're having fun with each other. We're having fun together playing. So I think it is. I think this is a good moment for us. And, you know, especially we're playing without one of our best players. So to do that in those circumstances, we're really just proud of ourselves.
The Las Vegas Aces, the self-proclaimed unstoppable dynasty of the WNBA, just got served a harsh dose of reality in front of the entire basketball world. A 27-point blowout, check. A'ja Wilson getting every favorable whistle under the sun and still crashing and burning, big check. Chelsea Gray, hilariously hyped by some as superior to Caitlin Clark, disappearing in crunch time, the biggest check of all. While A'ja was out there dragging players down from behind and somehow dodging fouls like a magician, there was a squad in Indianapolis putting on a clinic in what true, unselfish, high IQ basketball is all about.
The Indiana Fever just beat the Aces. The first win for the Indiana Fever against the Las Vegas Aces since I was 22 years old.
Because that 81-54 clinic the Indiana Fever put on wasn't just a loss for Vegas. It was a declaration. A glowing neon billboard blazing in bold Fever red screaming that no stack of referee freebies, no dramatic stat chasing from Wilson, and definitely no dynasty fairy tale was going to save them when Indiana made the decision to tighten up and play some real, cohesive, connected basketball.
And A'ja Wilson. My God, you see how many free throws that lady have? Oh my God, on the stat sheet, she had basically 30 points, but all the free throws this woman got, man, they tried their best to keep the Aces in the game, man, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter, man. They destroyed the Aces. About freaking time the Fever finally beats the Aces, man, and without Caitlin Clark.
Now, let's zoom in on the moment this clash really ignited. In the third quarter, Lexi Hull, who's been the embodiment of grit and steady progress all season, boxed out Wilson so flawlessly it could be featured in a coaching clinic. She claimed her space, planted her hips with precision, and pulled down that rebound like she's rehearsed it 1,000 times. Pure fundamentals. Then came A'ja Wilson, swooping in from behind, literally stretching over Lexi's shoulders and arms in a desperate, obvious grab for the ball. A move so egregious, it should be immortalized in a what not to do highlight reel.
Up, shot won't fall. Wilson, what looks like over the back. Oh boy, jump ball is the call. Wow. Stephanie White's upset about that. I thought that was over the back. Wow. Watch this. That's a jump ball?
Ask anyone who's seen even a single AAU game, and they'll confirm that's an over-the-back foul. Indiana ball, play on, end of story. But the refs? Nope. They chose to rewrite the rulebook right there on live television. Somehow, defying all reason, they ruled it a jump ball. as if Wilson had some equal right to that rebound after barreling into Hull from behind, like it was a free-for-all.
But this was a big win for the Fever because the Aces were the only team that they had not won at least one game to last season, meaning the Aces swept the Fever last season. They actually haven't won they actually haven't won a game against the Aces in 16 games. And they did it without Caitlin Clark. This team is crazy. They are beating the number one team in the league first. And then they go and beat the Aces, who they haven't won to in 16 games. And they did it without Caitlin Clark, which is just a testament to how this team is finally developing a rhythm.
Even the broadcast crew couldn't mask their disbelief. Their commentary swung between stunned silence and uneasy laughter as they tried to wrap their heads around what they were witnessing. The contact was blatant. The foul couldn't have been more clear. Yet somehow, the officials managed to neutralize it in a way that outright rewarded the very player who committed the violation.
It's a foul. It's your third. Lexi Hull, tremendous three at the base. The league at 50% shooting the three, girls are charged.
But here's where it gets downright poetic. The Indiana Fever didn't fold or sulk. They didn't let the wobbly officiating throw them off course. They brushed it aside, locked in, and went on to dismantle the Aces so thoroughly that every sketchy call became nothing more than background noise. Let's break down exactly how Indiana flipped what could have been a Vegas momentum shift into a lopsided masterclass in beautiful, connected basketball.
I think everyone's coming in with a level of focus every day, just right now knowing that, we do have a target on our backs and making sure that we're locked in on everything we're doing in practice. But I think we're taking that energy that we have, that fun, that lightheartedness into practice because at the end of the day, this is a game. You want to have fun, and I think we play our best basketball when we're playing free and having fun and being joyful and playing together.
From the opening quarter, Indiana came out swinging. They poured in the first 6 points and never let up. By the end of the first, they were cruising with a 21-4 lead. Already you could sense the game slipping out of Vegas's grip. Indiana shot close to 53%, held the Aces to under 29%, and dominated them 16-4 in paint points. At that moment, it was obvious. This wasn't going to be the Aces' night to shine.
Indiana has not beaten Las Vegas since the 2019 season. Since Howard, the Commissioner's Cup MVP, has us on the board. Here is Boston right up the middle, untouched.
Drive, gives it to the roller, Howard, and she scores from the middle of the paint. Timeout, Becky Hammond.
Couple of Gamecocks going head-to-head. I mean, there's some physicality right there.
We're really disciplined to the details, and we're playing with a high effort.
But it was in the second quarter that the Fever went straight for the jugular. They outscored Vegas 25-10. That's not a typo. 25-10. Indiana scorched the Nets at an unreal 82% clip, while Vegas stumbled to a miserable 24%. The Fever went a perfect 6 for 6 in the paint. The Aces, a sad 3 of 13. By halftime, it was 46-24. And let's be real, game over. And that controversial jump ball, it came right when Vegas desperately needed a miracle to get back in it. The refs basically threw them a lifeline, gifting them a possession they didn't earn and tossing them a chance to flip the momentum.
We've been preaching this all season, being very disciplined and intentional with our actions. On both ends of the floor, we're doing that. And it's a high level of activity all over the place. I'm really proud of the girls.
All smiles for the Fever through 20 minutes. It's a 22-point lead for the Fever. Indiana in front of Las Vegas, 46-24.
For the Fever, it could have been one of those unraveling moments, but they didn't flinch. Lexi Hull did everything right and still got snubbed, the kind of thing that usually tilts young teams. Not this time. Vegas got a bailout call and a sliver of hope, but Indiana slammed the door shut. By the fourth, it was a full-on demolition. The Aces scored just 7 points, 7. Final score, 81-54, and even that feels generous. Aja Wilson's stat sheet sparkled, but the game told a different story. Despite all the whistles in her favor, Vegas got run off the court. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hull, and the Fever didn't just win, they sent a message. The league's balance of power is shifting, and everyone just watched it happen in real time.
What is it, do you think, about your game that has people just can't wait to see you on the professional level?
I think it's just the style of basketball that I play, but also I think people love the fire and the emotion that I have and the smile I always have on my face. To be honest, I don't get nervous for games because I just know this is fun for me.
Moments after yet another jaw-dropping performance, Caitlin Clark took her seat at the podium, ready for the routine volley of post-game questions. But then, a veteran reporter shattered that rhythm, and for the first time in recent memory, Clark was left without words. What exactly was said, and why can't anyone stop talking about it? Let's break down the reporter's statement that stunned Caitlin Clark into silence. The Indiana Fever had just secured a pivotal 94-87 victory over the Las Vegas Aces at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Clark had led the charge with what many hailed as her finest all-around pro performance yet. 28 points on 11 for 18 shooting, 6 of those buckets from deep, plus 12 assists, 5 rebounds, and only 2 turnovers in a grueling 38 minutes. The win nudged Indiana into playoff territory with just weeks remaining in the regular season. The press room buzzed with energy, cameras clicking, reporters jotting furiously, Clark delivering answers with her signature blend of composure and competitive fire. ESPN's Holly Rowe asked about her growing chemistry with Aaliyah Boston, especially their deadly pick and roll that had carved out 18 points in the paint. Clark smiled. The trust between us is really growing. Aaliyah's been patient with me while I've adjusted to the timing at this level. Tonight felt like we were reading each other's minds. Then Stephen A. Smith, who'd been uncharacteristically silent the whole 15 minutes, caught her eye. Known for his booming voice and unapologetic takes, he was a towering presence even in stillness. "Stephen, go ahead," Clark invited. He rose slowly, the theatrics stripped away, his expression more pensive than performative. The room's energy shifted. This wasn't going to be a typical soundbite. "Caitlin," he began, his tone low and deliberate, "I've been doing this for over 30 years. I've spoken to thousands of athletes in every sport, seen champions rise and teams crumble. I've interviewed legends and those history forgot. I've watched rookies who shocked the world and veterans who faded. But there's one thing I need to ask, something that's been on my mind since I started really watching you this season." The room fell into a heavy, almost cinematic silence. Fingers hovered over keyboards, mid-sentence. Camera operators inched closer. Even the Fever's media crew, poised to wrap things up, froze in place. "You know," Smith began, his voice cutting through the stillness, "I've built my career on being honest, brutally honest. If an athlete falls short, I say it. I don't apologize for holding high standards. That's the job. But watching you this season, how you've handled the weight, the expectations, the leap from college to the pros, it's made me think." He paused, rubbing his face in a way that felt raw, unpolished, human. "There's something I should have said long ago, and honestly, I owe you an apology." Then came the question. How do you keep showing this much grace, this much professionalism, when people like me, especially me, have been unfair? I've been too harsh, too quick to judge, and flat out wrong about your transition to the pro level. I owe it to you and to everyone here to admit that you've proved a lot of us wrong. You deserved better than some of the things I've said. For the first time in her pro career, maybe even since high school, Caitlin Clark had no answer ready. This was the same player who'd stared down roaring Michigan State crowds, thrived under Final Four spotlights, fielded tough questions, and carried the weight of being the most scrutinized rookie in WNBA history. Now, she simply froze. Her mouth opened, then closed. Her hands, once animated, now rested still on the podium. Wow, she breathed, the words trembling. The confidence that usually wrapped around her like armor seemed to slip. "Steven, I honestly don't know what to say to that," she admitted softly. "I really don't have words." The silence stretched. Everyone understood they were watching something rare, unscripted and unfiltered. Even teammates Kelsey Mitchell and Alyssa Smith, halfway to the bus, turned back toward the doorway, sensing the weight of the moment. "I mean," Clark tried again, her voice still unsteady. "You asking me that? You saying that? It means more than you know. Because yeah, it's been tough. The criticism, the constant comparisons to my college numbers. People doubting if I could make the leap from the Big Ten to the WNBA, wondering if the hype was too much." She drew a breath, grounding herself. "But all of that, it fueled me. It made me put in more hours in the gym, watch more film, prove, not just to everyone else, but to myself, that I belong here, that I can be the kind of player and teammate this league needs, that the fans who believe in me weren't wrong." Her eyes lifted, voice steady now. "And hearing you say that, hearing you admit maybe some of it wasn't fair, it's overwhelming, but in the best possible way." Stephen A. Smith nodded slowly, then slipped a folded set of handwritten notes from his jacket. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment remark. It was deliberate. Prepared? "There's more I need to say," he began, voice low but steady. "And I need to say it here, out loud, because I've said things before on TV that weren't fair or fully thought through. It's time I own that." He glanced down at the page, his tone heavy with regret. 3 months ago, on First Take, I called you overhyped. I said the buzz around you was just media spin, especially from ESPN, to boost ratings. I claimed you needed to get through a full WNBA season before earning this kind of spotlight. I questioned whether you were strong enough, fast enough for the pros. I even said your college success didn't guarantee anything here. And while there's a grain of truth in wanting to see a full body of work, the way I said it erased everything you'd already accomplished. At the back of the room, Caitlin's teammates, Aaliyah Boston and Erica Wheeler, had appeared, watching intently as the moment unfolded under the glare of the sports media. "But here's what I've learned since then," Smith continued, his voice now gaining strength. "You're averaging 19.5 points and 8.4 assists in your rookie year. For perspective, Diana Taurasi had 17 points and 4.4 assists in her first season. Sue Bird, 14.4 points, 5.9 assists. You're delivering one of the greatest rookie seasons we've ever seen." He lifted his eyes to meet Clark's, and in that steady gaze there was no performance, only sincerity. "But numbers aren't the whole story. You've brought more attention to women's basketball than we've seen in decades, maybe ever. League attendance is up 48% when your team's on the road. TV ratings for Fever games have tripled. Your jersey sales have jumped over 200%. And beyond all of that, it's the way you lead, the way you credit your teammates, the way you handle pressure, the way you raise the game of everyone around you." His voice grew thick, words almost catching. "I was wrong about you, Caitlin. Wrong to doubt if you were ready. Wrong to question if you deserved the attention. I judged you by an outdated standard and failed to see what was right in front of me. You're not just a great rookie. You're changing the game for women's basketball. And for that, I owe you, the league, and my audience an apology." The press room seemed to ignite. Camera shutters clicked furiously, reporters typing as fast as their fingers would move, each trying to capture the moment. Holly Rowe, no stranger to emotional scenes, dabbed at her eyes even as she kept scribbling notes. Adrian Wojnarowski, usually the definition of composure, raised his phone to record. He knew history was happening here. Sue Bird, present as an ESPN analyst, stood and began to clap. The sound spread, first the ESPN crew, then other journalists, then Fever staff in the back. Aaliyah Boston stepped forward to the podium, laying a steadying hand on Clark's shoulder. It was a quiet, wordless show of solidarity, and it seemed to anchor Clark in the middle of a moment she would never forget. Then Caitlin spoke, her voice steady now. "Steven," she began, "you don't need to apologize to me. Sports media is supposed to challenge us. It's supposed to be tough, to hold athletes accountable, to ask hard questions. What matters is that you're willing to rethink your position when new facts come along. That takes real strength and honesty." Her gaze swept across the room, locking eyes with reporters, some of whom had been openly critical of her rocky start in the pros. "And honestly," she continued, "that criticism helped me. It pushed me. It made me work harder, not just to prove something to fans or reporters, but to prove to myself that I belong here, that I can compete, that I can win at this level, that I can handle the jump from college to the pros, and maybe even master it." The conversation shifted. Adrian Wojnarowski, still recording from his seat, raised a hand. "Caitlin," he said, "going back to what Stephen A. mentioned about rethinking how we cover sports, how do you think the media's approach to women's basketball has changed since you entered the league? And what would you like to see happen next?" Clark paused, clearly weighing her words. "I think we've definitely gotten more attention," she said. "That's amazing. Not just for me, but for the young girls watching, and for the incredible women who've been building this league for years. But more attention also means more pressure, and that's fine, as long as the criticism is fair and based on facts." She glanced back toward Stephen A., who remained standing, listening intently. "What I respect about Stephen A. today is that he's showing growth. He's willing to listen and learn. Covering women's sports isn't just about using the same playbook you use for men's sports. This is something different, something meaningful, and it needs to be understood in its own context, with all the unique challenges and opportunities that come with being a woman playing pro basketball in 2025. Rebecca Lobo, seated a few rows back, jumped in. "Caitlin, you mentioned using criticism as motivation. How have you managed the pressure of being seen as the face of what many are calling a new era for the WNBA?" Clark smiled, her confidence now fully back. "That's the thing," she said. "I never planned to be the face of anything." And then, just when it seemed the most surprising moment of the day had passed, Stephen A. reached once more into his jacket. This time, he pulled out a small, well-worn piece of paper, its edges soft from being folded and unfolded countless times. "Caitlin," he said, his voice quieter now, "there's one more thing. The most important thing I came here to share. My daughter plays basketball for her middle school team in New York. She's followed your journey since your junior year at Iowa, and a while back, she asked me to give you something if I ever got the chance to meet you." He rose from his seat, walked to the podium, and placed the folded paper in Clark's hands. "She wrote you a letter a few months ago, back when I was being pretty critical about your start in the pros," he said. "She made me promise I'd give it to you if I ever met you in person. I've been carrying it to games ever since, just waiting for the right time." Clark accepted the letter with a look of genuine appreciation. She unfolded it slowly, almost reverently, as if she sensed it was more than a typical fan note. Her expression shifted as she read, first curious, then surprised, and finally deeply moved. Her eyes widened, then narrowed as she lingered on certain lines. A warm smile spread across her face, and for a moment it seemed she might tear up. "Would you mind if I read part of this out loud?" she asked. Smith gave an immediate, encouraging nod. "I think this is something everyone should hear," Clark said, clearing her throat before reading in a voice that carried both joy and emotion. By the time she finished, the room was filled with laughter, louder than before. And even a few reporters clapped at Maya's unfiltered, heartfelt words about her dad's basketball opinions. "She's definitely not wrong about that last part," Smith quipped, grinning. The room broke into another wave of laughter, the atmosphere now lighter and warmer, transforming the moment from a tense sports media exchange into something far more human, funny, genuine, and unexpectedly touching. So, what's your take on the reporter's unexpected statement that left Caitlin Clark speechless? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
It's going to be a jump. Now here it looked like a jump. There, this looks like a foul to me.
Yeah.
Indiana, and you can see Caitlin saying you were right in front of her.
Caitlin Clark lost it on the refs after Sophie Cunningham got body slammed with no call. It wasn't just a blown whistle, it was a disgrace, exposing everything wrong with WNBA officiating in the Fever's 78-74 win over the Storm.
Like, I'm not saying that your job is easy, but when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What call are you, like, bugged out?
All of them.
Just everything?
Like, it's just like they're just so inconsistent. Like, that's my thing. Like, if you're on the other team and you're going to be finding this shit at me,
yeah,
cool. But let me do it to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
Like,
consistency then.
yeah, like just give. And I think that's players across the league and like new fans across the country. Like, everyone's like, what is going on with the refs? And I'm like, I don't know.
Sophie grabbed the rebound and was calmly holding the ball until a Storm player slammed her like it was Sunday Night Football. The ref? Front row seat? Did nothing. Just stood there like he was watching a backyard barbecue.
Now, am I ever advocating for players to throw other players on the ground? No, like we've seen so much of it throughout the WNBA. He watches this happen right in front of him. There's so much contact on the play and he does nothing. He doesn't blow his whistle. He doesn't stop the play. He doesn't call a foul here.
That's when Caitlin Clark, sidelined for the 7th straight game with a groin injury, finally snapped. She'd had enough.
We have updates and our recovery's going well. You know, it's just, I think for us staying the course and making sure that we're really diligent about each step that we take and that we don't have setbacks and that we're patient with it. I know she wants to be out here on the floor. We want her out here on the floor, but making sure that she's ready is the most important thing. You know, I still don't know how far we are. We're going to take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and go from.
She couldn't hold back. "You were right in front of her. Why did you change your mind?" Clark shouted, her voice echoing through the arena, saying what every fan was thinking. The incompetence was unreal.
I don't even know what the players can do because the players aren't being protected. And I know so many of the times, like, we're talking about this when it comes to the Indiana Fever, but this does happen across the league. There are many plays that we could pull up. Do you guys have any suggestions on what can actually be done? The coaches get fined when they call them out to the media. Like, this is a top-down issue. This is a commissioner's issue.
This officiating mess isn't just a bad night. It's the WNBA's biggest crisis. And Caitlin Clark's outrage? It's become the rallying cry for a league on the brink.
The officiating in the WNBA, I kind of already went off on it, but it's just atrocious. Really, really bad. Like, there have got to be rules to present overt physicality from dominating the game. And that's what we've got. We've got it in the NBA, we've got it in the WNBA. Nobody wants to call a bunch of fouls, but these officials don't know what a foul is and a foul isn't. They can't even tell when a ball goes out of bounds. Like, you've got 2 million plus people watching some of these games. You have got to have a correctly officiated product, or at least confidently officiated product, and competently officiated product.
WNBA officiating is in freefall, and everyone sees it. Blown calls keep stacking up, while Sophie got fined $500 for a TikTok mocking refs. Meanwhile, real hits go unchecked. Commissioner Engelbert shrugged it off. But this isn't about losing, it's about player safety and respect.
This year, it's not just Caitlin Clark. If you wear that Indiana Fever jersey, consider it done. The refs are not going to be fair, and they are going to cheat and do whatever it takes to do what the higher-ups say.
Even the league's biggest names are fed up. Becky Hammon's been losing it publicly. Kelsey Plum shows up to pressers covered in scratches, asking how she got mauled for 40 minutes and only shot 6 free throws.
And I got scratches on my face, I got scratches on my body, and these guards on the other team get these ticky-tack fouls, and I'm sick of it. I get fouled like that every possession. Ricky gets fouled like that in the post all the time, and they don't call it, and I don't know what else to do. Like, it's really frustrating, though. I'm like, I feel, I mean, there's multiple shots at the end of the game, either go into the third, into the fourth, where they're just coming and swinging, and they just don't call anything.
Amid the chaos, one player rose above it all. Sophie Cunningham. She delivered another clutch performance, proving she's the Fever's go-to star with Caitlin Clark still sidelined.
Gabby Williams storms inside, can't finish it, follows it up into the arms of Bibby, just signed for the rest of the season by Indiana. Been a perfect fit at the stretch 4. Cunningham connects on a 3.
And just look at her frame, 6'6" and super long.
Cunningham connects on another 3.
She lit it up with 17 points on 5 of 6 shooting, including 4 of 5 from deep. And yep, she was the only Fever player to hit a 3 all game.
Big games from Sophie Cunningham, the only player on the Indiana Fever to make her 3 tonight. The Indiana Fever were 4 of 21 from downtown, and Sophie Cunningham hit all 4 of those 3s. 17 points. And the difference between this and the Lynx game, which was Sophie Cunningham's last really good breakout game, this wasn't late. This was, we're struggling offensively. Somebody needs to come through, and Sophie Cunningham came through for us.
Sophie's no fluke. She's been on fire. Dubbed the Blonde Bomber for her clutch 3s, she's thrived since that viral Sun Brawl backing Clark, gaining 800,000 followers and skyrocketing jersey sales.
Sophie the Blonde Bomber, Sophie the Trophy, lit it up again tonight. Man, she has been nothing short of spectacular as of late. 5 of 6 from the floor, 4 of 5 from 3, 3 for 4 from the free throw line, 17 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds. Sophie the Blonde Bomber has been on fire. Sophie stepped it up in a big time way. That is what you need. When your best player is out, you need the ancillary pieces to step up and deliver. And that is what Sophie Cunningham has been doing for them.
Sophie's rise from enforcer to star has been a season highlight. Now the Fever's most reliable scorer, she's a fan favorite. But even her heroics couldn't stop another near collapse of a 12-point lead.
The Fever did everything possible to blow a game, but still come out with the win. That was a near epic level collapse, folks. Wow, it should have never gotten that close. Lexi Hull, Stephanie White waited till the very last minute to put Hull in on defense. She should have been in there from 2 minutes in. 2.5 minutes in on defense. They could not seem to get a big rebound to save their life, and this almost turned into a disaster.
The Fever were rolling, up 55-42 in the third behind Sophie's hot streak. But the moment they relaxed, everything unraveled. It's like they're allergic to success without Clark. Seattle closed the quarter on a 10-2 run, slicing the lead to 4, and just like that, a sure win turned into a full-blown nail-biter.
The Indiana Fever just almost pushed me to a heart attack. The Indiana Fever nearly blow a 12-point fourth quarter lead. We allow the Seattle Storm to go on an 11-0 run in the fourth quarter. Stephanie White, I keep telling y'all, I don't trust her. I'm sorry. We give up a 11-0 run within the last 4 minutes to let this team cut the lead down to 1.
The fourth was all nerves. Seattle cut it to 73-72 with 3 minutes left, and every Fever fan felt the panic. This team just can't close games, and it's costing them.
Boy, they almost blew it. Nonsensical whistles to stop runs, or how about blowing a whistle to stop the other team's run? Coming out in the second half, I will never back off of this. When you come out in the second half and you start losing leads, that is a coaching issue. I don't care what sport you're in. All right? Because what that tells you is the opposing coach went into the second in the halftime, made adjustments. The other team comes out, and they start figuring it out. Well, it's up to your coach. It's up to your coach to make adjustments against that adjustment.
The Fever seem to forget how to play once the fourth starts. Kelsey Mitchell had a brutal night. 3 for 16, 0 for 8 from 3, like playing piano with oven mitts. Luckily, Aaliyah Boston stepped up big. She dropped 16 points, 12 boards, and a clutch 9-point run that saved the game.
Kelsey Mitchell could not get it going today, and I told y'all she is a roller coaster. You got to remember, she went off versus the Sky. Then she was, 8 for 24. Then she had a good game. Then she was down again. Then last game she was up. This game she's down again at 3 of 16. This is Kelsey Mitchell. She's a roller coaster. She's a roller coaster. She gave you 9 points on 3 of 16, shooting 0 of 8 from 3.
Here's Boston. Boston, good look inside. Howard lays it in. Nobody in the league at 6'4" or taller averages more assists than Aaliyah Boston. Well, you know, what happens off a deflection from a defensive player if it hits the rim? Shot clock still would reset. It doesn't have to be a shot. As Howard somehow spins that in, plus the foul.
Boston's resurgence came right on time. After struggling without Clark, she's finally back to form, dominating the paint, locking in on defense, and giving the Fever hope. With Sophie handling the scoring, Boston's aggression has become one of the few bright spots in a chaotic season.
I mean, AB's been huge for us. She's really been the key. She came into this league predominantly playing on the low block, getting a lot of post touches when she was in college and her rookie year. And then, last year, her first year with Caitlin, playing a lot in the two-man. And then this year, we're asking her to be a facilitator as well. A hub for us on the offensive end of the floor while being more versatile on the defensive end than she probably has ever been. And she's just continued to step up to the challenge and grow and be better. She's really the rock of our team.
Veteran leadership has kept Indiana afloat, and Natasha Howard's been key. She dropped 21 points and became the team's steady anchor amid the chaos. Smart finishes, high IQ, zero ego, just consistent pro-level execution. In a league full of spotlight chasers, Howard's discipline is a rare and needed presence.
Players looking like they need a breather.
Yes.
Cunningham lays it in, going backdoor on Diggins. Well, what happens off a deflection from a defensive player if it hits the rim? Shot clock still would reset. It doesn't have to be a shot. As Howard somehow spins that in, plus the foul.
You see her cutting through the lane. Skylar Diggins is inside, so she's the one left to take the Howard cut. What a tough shot by Natasha Howard.
The Storm had every chance to steal this one, but when it mattered, they crumbled. Skylar Diggins missed 2 wide-open threes, and Gabby Williams' clean look at the buzzer rimmed out. Now 16-13, Seattle's dropped 3 of 4 at home, and with the playoff race tightening, they're running out of time and answers for their late-game collapses.
I'm really proud of you guys. There were so many ways in a close game and in game situation where we grew today that were huge for us, y'all. That will pay dividends. So great job. I'm proud of you guys. Everybody contributed. Everybody came in and gave us a lift. Kels, I know it was a tough shooting day, but the way you facilitated and that one big jumper that you made. Right, we dug in and got stops when we needed to. I mean, big time win, y'all. Big time win.
This was a huge win for Indiana. Now 17th to 12th and 5th in the standings, they own tiebreakers over both Seattle and Vegas, key for the playoff push. Even more impressive? They've won 5 straight without Caitlin Clark and sit 9-7 without her overall. But her return remains a mystery. She showed up in game gear but didn't play, fueling speculation. With tough matchups ahead and playoff spots on the line, every game and every unanswered question matters.